Okay, so that was Libertango by Ástor Piazzolla, and it's from a student Miles who came to me on Friday with a bunch of different stuff and kind of overwhelmed me, and I wasn't really sure what to focus on. And you've only really just begun learning guitar, so I was very focused on keeping these here open strings in the piece. But whenever I got to the C section, and I told you on Friday that the way that I was writing it for you isn't really the way that I would play it. When I got to the C section, I realized the way that I would play it is probably easier than trying to make things easier for a beginner. And so we're going to start with something a little bit more advanced, which is something you get into if you've ever done any jazz guitar before, which you know you haven't. You start off with these really overwhelming, huge grips, and then it's not really true to how you play in real life, especially with a bunch of different instruments. You kind of really fill in the middle voice, and you know, the piano and the bass, they take care of like the roots and the fifths. You kind of play the thirds and the sevenths whenever they come in. That'll make sense whenever we get into harmony, but basically all that means is you only really need to play two notes. That's all you really need to supply, and everyone else takes care of the rest. So in jazz guitar, those two notes are usually found on the third and the fourth string. So that first part could just be played like that there. And that would be much easier if you can't manage this stretch. So we'll try to get the stretch, but if we can't do it, don't worry. You'll just play less, play fewer notes. But yeah, basically the way that this works is this is basically how you would play in a big band. You get those notes on the inside strings, and then you play the roots and the fifths on the sixth string. So that whole intro, A section and B section, when we're playing the A minor, B over A, B minor flat 5 over A, back to A minor, we're just keeping the third finger on the 5th fret of the 6th string. The first chord, A minor, third finger, 5th fret, 6th string, first finger, 2nd fret on the 4th string, and your pinky finger is going to play the 5th fret on the 3rd string. Then you make this switch to B over A. You bring the first finger up to the 4th fret, 4th string, your second finger, 4th fret on the 3rd string, and your first finger then moves down to the F. And then back to A minor. Okay. You also notice I'm muting all the strings that I don't need. My third finger mutes the 5th string when I play any of these chords, and my first and pinky fingers, they mute the 2nd and the 1st strings. Okay. So you should be able to strum every string really hard and still only hear those 3 notes. Okay, then the next set of chords, A minor over G. I'm just going to use this shape. We're not even going to play the A note, we're just going to play 3rd fret on the 6th string with the 2nd finger, 1st fret, 2nd string, 4th finger. Whoops. First finger goes to the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and your pinky finger goes to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. This is G, E, and C. So that's your A minor over G. The rest of the band's going to make it an A minor. Then the next chord is an F sharp diminished chord. It's going to be this shape. Your second finger, 2nd fret on the 6th string, first finger, 1st fret on the 4th string, and your third finger, 2nd fret on the 3rd string. This is the same shape we're going to use for the F diminished chord, but we're not going to move move it down. We've got too many open notes, and we don't like open notes in jazz. They're harder to control. So we're going to bring this shape up so that our first finger is at the 3rd fret, and that will be our F diminished. Then we have to play an E7 chord. And the neat thing about the diminished shapes and the dominant 7 shapes, especially as Freddie Green style voicings, are that they're actually going to be the same shape. So we keep that diminished shape. We bring it up so that our first finger is now at the 6th fret, and that's our E7 chord. Okay, we're going to have to switch the fingers around though. We'll have to bring, we can keep that first finger there at the 6th fret, but we need to start with an E7 sus4. So you put your 3rd finger on the 7th fret on the 4th string, and your pinky finger on the 7th fret on the 3rd string. You do your strum, and then you lift the 3rd finger up off, and then it's an E7 chord. Now, you'll notice like the intro, the A section and the B section are all repeats. I mean, they're all the exact same. But what I want you to do is I want you to take the sheet that I've made and commit the chords to memory, because whenever you're actually rehearsing with the band, they'll be calling out bar numbers as well as the sections, and it'll be confusing if you're not working off the same score. But they're all basically the same, so I'm not going to teach you a bunch of different chords to play. Although if you do get better in time, you know, you can throw in different voicings if you wanted to and jazz things up a bit more. Then after you've played that 3 times, you move on to the C section. This is an easy enough shape. So B flat 6, 2nd finger 6th fret on the 6th string, and then your first finger is going to bar the 5th fret on the 4th and 3rd strings. And then I'm going to play A7, but I'm going to keep my 2nd finger there, and I'm going to use my 3rd finger at the I'm going to move my 2nd finger down so that it's playing the root of A7 at the 5th fret on the 6th string, and then my 3rd finger is going to play the 5th fret on the 4th string, and my pinky finger plays the 6th fret on the 3rd string. Okay. Another neat thing about these kind of voicings are you have so many fingers free to move about and play the chords in new interesting ways, and to decorate them if you wanted to, do a little bit of improvisation. But yeah, it's easier to play this here like this, so that we go to the next chord like this. Makes that stretch a wee bit easier. Because if I could get away with it, we would just play D minor 7, that would be much easier. But it says D minor in the chord chart, so we're going to do this big stretch. So from your A7 chord, move your pinky finger just up a half step to the 7th fret on the 3rd string, and then your first finger, it goes to the 3rd fret on the 4th string. You keep your 2nd finger at the 5th fret. So that's D minor. So B flat 6. And try not to bar those notes there, and you get really ugly. There's A7. So getting to that D minor chord will probably take a little bit of practice, just because it is such a wide stretch. And then you're going to repeat those same shapes, except at the end it's going to be a major chord. So A flat 6, same shape as B flat 6, except your first finger is going to be barring the 3rd fret. Same shape for G7. C major there, and you'll notice it's the same as your A minor over G from earlier, so you already know this shape. And then back up to E7. Okay, so once you got to your E7, you're on to the last part of the piece, this D section, which is really just the first 8 bars repeated. And first 8 bars repeated. It goes twice, and then you'll end on a really loud accented A minor. That's what that little arrow above it there is a marcato sign, which is just another kind of accent. So would be how you would get that there the last time through. So yeah, hopefully this is all straightforward. Well, hopefully this is all straightforward. I know that chords in general are new to you. These ones, they aren't actually as scary as they seem. We can do a couple of exercises to help with the finger stretches. But yeah, these here aren't actually that difficult. Muting is probably going to be the most difficult thing about them. And what we can do is we can kind of drop parts of the rhythm for the changes. Like as soon as we're about to change chord and let the rest of the band fill in, you know, we're very exposed when we're playing it on our own, but it doesn't have to be completely clean. You know, there's always some wiggle room, especially with other people supporting you. So yeah, hopefully this here's easy enough for you on your own, because I only have you once every 2 weeks. This all makes sense to you, and the next time I see you, you're just going to blast through it, and we'll get started on the bass line then. P.S. I'm realizing I didn't go over the rhythm, and I know that was something that you were wanting to work on that last day. And I know that at this stage you're still really counting the notes and how many times you're striking them within a phrase or a bar, rather than trying to count the actual beat. So I'll try to break it down as simple as I can. Basically, the strumming pattern for it: down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up. Okay? And there are 3 notes in that pattern that are accented. First accent is on the first beat, the second accent is on the end of beat 2, and the final accent is on beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's worthwhile. You're probably going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or something like that there. Whatever, just write it out. Make sure you get the accents in the right place. And it's worthwhile just doing that with the scratch, rather than trying it with the chords at the start. Get it into your system, into your body as soon as possible, because you don't really want to be thinking it. You want it to become automatic. Then you just try to keep that pattern going. While changing chords slowly. And it's okay if you can't keep the pattern going whenever you're changing. It just has to be something similar. Alright, you don't have to stick to the same thing. So some people start this here and they think they have to be absolutely perfect, but you're not really going to get that. You just have to adapt to whatever happens whenever you're performing. So yeah, just work on getting the rhythm in first, and then try putting it on every chord slowly, and then whatever happens, and just roll with it whenever you're actually rehearsing with your band.